Okay, I'm back. Cut off a little piece of this stuff and it'll slide right up in there, close to that bend. And then I'm gonna, can you see? Yeah, okay, that looks okay in the video there. Yeah, that's it. That's what I want. Okay, so I'm right up against the bed nicely. And I can use my caulking tool actually to this table's actually it's pretty smooth, so it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. There's still some waviness in this. I think I'm gonna go work on this side a little bit, and then I'll come back to that, see how that goes, and then see what we want to do. That's not bad. It's got a little bow to it, but it's, let me just give it a little like this. Alright, that's better. And it's still got a little dive right at the end here. Not bad though. Well, see, you know, that's what happens with this stuff. You know, you start messing around with it, and it's looking pretty good, right? Then you get the straight edges out, and you start looking at stuff, and now you're looking at all this little stuff, right? And you're like, ooh, I don't like that. Ooh, I don't like that. So your standards change as you go along, right? So, you know, sometimes you end up putting more work into something than it really needs, just because you start, you know, looking at it really closely. This is pretty typical when you if you ever have to do any work under a microscope, everything looks like junk. Your fingers look like, you know, like some tree bark or something like that. So everything looks bad under magnification. So if you don't like the looks of something, look at it a little farther away. So all right, so yeah, this has got some appendages on the inside here that I have to deal with, and they're kind of in my way. I don't want to mess them up, and so it blocks my access to them a little bit. So there's some techniques for kind of reaching in there to get at some of these things, and so I'll show you that. So one thing. There's a tool in sheet metal. It's called a snarling iron, and I'm not going to use a snarling iron, but it's the principle of the snarling iron, where we actually have something where we can reach into it, and we direct our blow not directly to the part. So it's an indirect method of attacking something. So, you know, I can't get in here to get a swing at that. I'd be coming in at an angle. What I really want to do is I want to come straight down, but this is in my way, so how the heck do I get in there, right? So I use a technique, and I just kind of grafted snarling iron, but it's a similar technique to a snarling iron. You can look that up on the web, and it's usually a piece that you clamp in the vise, and you hit it, and it acts like a spring, and it bounces, and it's for working the insides of hollow shapes to bump up a low spot or something like that. But we're gonna try that here. A couple of bars here. Bar. Yeah, that one's not gonna fit. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna set that in there like that, and clamp this, and then I'm gonna hit the bar. I'm not gonna hit the part. I'm gonna hit the bar, and it's gonna transmit that blow into that area that I can't get. So. Clamp this down nicely. And so I'm just going to hold it down. so it doesn't bounce. And you see that? So I was able to reach in there and flatten that out. So I didn't want it to bounce, and so I just kind of held pressure down on it to retard the bounce. And I get up as close as I can, obviously. And lap that. Yeah, that's pretty nice there. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. And this is a really great example here. There's just a tiny little edge to work with, but I can just set that right on that tiny little edge, and I don't have to worry about crushing it because I'm just right there. I'm holding it only right on that part. Yeah, okay. It's pretty good. Well, unfortunately, I'm going to have to get my square out and start looking at this with a square. It's starting to get kind of close. I want to start squaring things up and look at it that way. And that's usually when you get into trouble, because you start using measuring tools and your standards start shifting. Alright, it's not bad that way. A little bit. Oop, too much. I have no idea how good these things come from the factory. You know, they're production made, so they're probably pretty good. It's got a little rock to it. A little crosswalk there. Oh, it's not looking bad there. Not looking bad for a few minutes of straightening there. I can see a little wow in it there. Oh, let's well, yeah, I suppose I could put this in there. See how that looks. Probably work here. So this is the secondary pivot for that. So that thing's kind of hammered too. So I gotta be careful with this one. It's got a little flared hole in it, and that acts as one of the pivots. So I don't want to squash that and mess that up. This is thinner stuff here. What do we got here? It's leaving some marks in there. That's in it. Oh yeah, okay. This has got a curve. Oh yeah, that helped. A curved flange all the way around it. I'm going to get a different hammer there. And the flange is distorted, so this is a, what is that? That's an acetate head, I think, on that one. This is an old proto hammer, yeah, proto. And these are, I think they're acetate. It's kind of screwdriver handle material. Don't get any acetone on those, they'll melt. How do I know that? I'll give you one guess. So the other thing you can do is you can use the hammer actually as a caulking tool to get up in there and hit it with another hammer, which works pretty good for stuff. Yeah. Alright, let's get it on there. Well, it fits. Let's see, that's gotta be, I get 3 of those, yeah, okay. Well, no, wait a sec. 1, 2, 3, oh yeah, okay, it's the same screw, so yeah, wait a sec. Screw's going in kind of tight. Maybe the screw was boogered a little bit on the end, or maybe they're. I don't remember them being that tight when I pulled them out. Yeah, it doesn't feel like good. It's going in though. All right. Well, that kind of works, huh? I don't know. That was the bad. Yeah, that was the bad one. So, geez, I don't know. That's not too bad. Still got a little bump here. I don't like the looks of, but geez. Okay, well, that might be okay. So this is the cover for it. This guy really needs some help here. You can see it's supposed to have a radius on it, so that it snaps together like that and fits under that lip. Excuse me, that one is pretty far gone, and it's got a kink in it too. It's not just, you see here, this is just kind of a smooth bend here, but once you get a crease like that, the material's actually been stretched in that area, so it makes corrective action more difficult because the material gets longer, and you gotta, you have more material there because it's stretched. So if you just bring it back, it's very difficult to get rid of a line on a crease like that. Although it's not too bad. So let's see what we can do with that one there. Okay, it's coming out. It's actually got pretty good paint on it. It's the paint's not cracking, which is kind of amazing. Am I hitting where you guys can see? Okay. A little hand massaging there. You see that now? Yeah. Now that's where that crease was. You can still see it. Not too bad. Paint's coming off right there. Oh, I see. It's got a twist to it. It's got a little twist going on there. So I'm going to hold the one side and kind of work that twist out. That's better. Okay, I'll go with that. So, I don't like this curve right now. Oh, yeah. That side. Yeah, okay, so this side's got a, oh, you know what? Okay, it's got this nameplate on it here, so it's kind of double thickness, so it's making this behave a little differently here. So, what size is that here? 2 1/4. So, I think what I want to do is I want to find a piece of round around here. Find a piece of round around here. That's pretty good. And kind of massage this curve a little bit. It's if I can get up in there. It's got a little dingus right here that I want to get out of there. So find a piece of round, and I'll come right back. Okay, so I'm back. I decided to use my post dolly here to work this drum switch cover a little bit. So I'm going to change it over and swap it over to one of these other stakes. This is a homemade stake here, and this is just a stand I made, and I made a socket for the side so you can drop regular sheet metal stakes in. This diameter is actually really close to what I want here. It really only needs a little bit of kind of hand massaging here, but it's helpful to have a round of the pretty close to the right size. So don't put your finger between the hammer and the stake. Trust me. Yeah, it's looking better already. Yeah, it's looking real good. So yeah, it actually fits pretty good. I'm going to grab the switch. Here's our drum switch again. Oh yeah. Hey, look at that. Shoot. Oop, there's a spot I don't like right there. You see that? So right there, there's a, you see that? Yeah, you can see that. There's a little wow and it's going out there, so I'm gonna give that a couple little love taps there and see what happens. Oh yeah, okay. That's pretty good now. I gotta keep thinking about this camera, you know. I'm used to kind of working by myself and not really talking while I'm working. And the video thing's kind of new to me. Although the videos that I put up on YouTube, I've gotten a pretty good response to, so I want to thank you guys for that. And it's actually encouraging me to do more. So anyway, so bear with me. I'll get better at it, and my videos will get better, and my software will get better, and everything will get better. So, all right. So something still doesn't quite look right here. What is it? Oh, we get the parallelogram thing going, maybe. It does kind of go together, though. Like I said, I can't really say how good these things are when they come from the factory, but okay, there we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe I just didn't have it right. guys, I think that's might be a flyer there. That's behaving. Ooh, look at that. I just noticed something. So that little spud shaft sticking out of there. So it's cross drilled for a little drive pin, and it bent right at that cross hole there. So I gotta be careful with that. That might be hard to fix if I screw that up. Although it is steel, so I think it'll tolerate a little bit of, yeah. See if you guys can see this. Hold it just right. I don't know if you can see that wagging around. Hard to hold. Yeah, there you go. You can see that. There we go. That's how you do it. All right. So I'm going to take that back apart. Actually, I got a screwdriver right here. Oh, hey, some knucklehead tightened that up too much. So let me get my bigger screwdriver. Slotted head screws. Why do people keep using those? I mean, you can get them nice and tight. That's one nice thing about them. But the screwdriver slides out of them really easily, and you know, I don't know if you've ever tried to use a cordless drill with a driver on it and use a slotted screw, man. It'll drive you to tears playing around with one of those. Jumping off the thing all over the place. What was I doing? I'm gonna straighten this guy here. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a delicate one there. So I want to hold it firmly right below the bend, so that I'm backing it up, and then I want to give it a little kick. I don't want to put any force on this phenolic part. My guess is this thing runs all the way through. I don't want to take it out because this is it's swaged in there. It's staked on this little cam on the end, so I don't really want to take it apart. So I got to think about how I'm going to hold that. Although, you know, it's thin enough, I can probably just hold that in the vise and put a little force on it and get that straightened out. So, yeah, I'm going to try that. See how that works. So this is looking pretty good. I may work on this a little bit more. But in general, I'm pretty happy with that. So I think I'm going to straighten this, see how that goes, and then put this back together and switch it a little bit and see how it behaves. Okay, I'm back. So while I had the video off, I couldn't resist. I had to go back and fiddle around with it a little bit more, so I was able to improve it a bit more. I also worked on the little retainer clip that was pretty mangled. I'll point at this guy right here. So it's looking pretty good now. It actually looks like it's going to work. I'm going to try to put this all back together and cross my fingers and see if it'll go. So that wasn't too bad. I wasn't watching the clock, so I'm not quite sure how long that took. But you know, this kind of stuff, it's actually I find it funner to be able to fix it and reuse it than just buying a new one and giving up, right? So yeah, I think we're ready for some assembly here. And oh yeah, let me try these. So this one here, this has this broken corner here. So I'm gonna, I see what broke off there. I'm gonna put that in there and see if how it behaves. These have to be pretty stable because the switch rubs on these mechanically, and although they are kind of on the ends of a long spring there. Anyway, you don't want those jumping out of place. on you. The right one? Okay, that's the right side there. The other one is Mr. Bessie back protection. Just need to hold on to it so I can get a little leverage on it with my hands. Funky noise there. Oh, that's in there pretty damn good. I don't know, I'm liking that, to tell you the truth. Shit, that's, excuse my French there. That's, I don't know, you know? Okay, so I got a clamp to the table with a welding clamp, and I'm wanking on that, and I can't move it, so I'm calling that good. All right, let's pop the other side in there and see if it cooperates the same way that. Oh, dang it! You know what? I forgot the phenolic plate, and I don't. Sometimes you get lucky. Maybe I can snake that under there. Yeah. All about planning, right? I don't want to bust this either, so you know what? I'm just going to take this out again. Put that phenol guy in there, my insulator, off of the bottom. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So the guy that wired this actually marked the wire connections on it, so I'm going to make sure that's facing up. Alright, that's that. Hey, I'm shooting video back here, so that's my wife coming back. So you gotta like flex this thing out of the way here. Oh, there we go. Okay, that's awesome. All right. Still feels good. All right, it's still solid. Let's put the other side in. So yeah, this side's got a similar chip on it. See if that one goes in too. Oh, that one. Okay, so that one's got. That one's not as happy. It's kind of loose. Yeah, I'm not liking that one. Huh. What's going on here? So why is that one tight and that one is not? You know what? I gotta put some of this other guts in here first. Look like I have access to get everything in there that I need in there. I don't pay attention there again. Alright, that goes in. Hey, I got my model. I'm glad I didn't take that apart. Alright, so the long side, the spring's got a long and a short side, and I took it off, I didn't look at it. Okay, so I got that backwards, so I'll flip it around. And then the long side goes through onto that. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Huh, that's weird. That seems like a dumb way. Alright, whatever. Okay. So that snaps in there. So. And it's over there. Okay. Now we're talking. Yeah, and so when I put this other one in, that's it's in the way of putting that in. So, all right. Back to this. So what do I do with that? This thing's. See, it's just going, it's shooting through. This one isn't going through. I need to. We had, you know, we had some little projections on the phenolic here that probably held it, and those are they got sheared off in the excitement. So I think that keeps it in position this way in the switch, which is what's giving me trouble right now. Yeah, see that one. I wonder if that hole's distorted a little bit. I suppose I could do that. 'Cause this one isn't doing that. Oh, maybe it is. Alright, what can I do with that? I could just drill a hole through it and make some like pegs there to kind of hold it. Yeah, I'm gonna need to do something there. So this is the side with this business. Oh, hey, you know what? Is that really kind of, does that hold it? Oh, how do you like that? Although it's not so this cover plate actually kind of covers those up and keeps them from coming out. I'm not real excited about this because it's kind of unsupported down there, and then this end isn't behaving itself down here. And there we squeeze that little pepper. Yeah, it's not going into the what I would call the receiver socket there. Why is that one doing it though? Maybe it's just barely catching. This other side's like fine now. It's killing me here, and it's just as messed up as that one. can see that the hole that it passes through, maybe when I was straightening that, it kind of distorted that hole a little bit, and keeps that nice and tight. I suppose I could upset it a little bit. Wouldn't be that hard to do. All it needs is probably a couple little center punch marks on there to displace some material into the hole, to make it fit real tight. Think about that for a minute before I do it. Alright, so there's the can. There's a little lower. Let's see if I can put this thing in here. Where's it supposed to be here? Like that? Sure, why not? Let's do that. Let's see, let's go ahead and put a couple of screws in that, and see, now it's all spring loaded. It's everything doesn't want to line up. It wants to jump out of position there. Third hand here. And that's when you're really wishing for a Phillips or a socket head, because you can't influence the screw sideways, you know, when you're working it. Let's find the right place to. Alright, okay, that's lined up. Let's go in the darn hole. That's all I want. Let's go in the hole. Alright. So, sorry for the boring video, me putzing around with this thing. So with my software, I'll speed that part up for you. So you don't have to bear with me klutzing around with that. Neutral, some other position. See, now this one's behaving badly now. Alright, I'm going to turn this off. I gotta look at this some more. Thanks for looking.